Hello, I'm Ashmanix, and I'm joined by my wonderful co-host, MemeDoc.
That's me.
Why do you sound so clear at that point? And we are starting a podcast.
And
A
a watch
po-
along.
yes, it's a watch-along podcast thing, um, where we're going to watch or rewatch Gundam Wing and talk about it. So So why? Why are we doing this? Well, because it's an excuse for me to spend time with Beam Doc, who has a life and is very busy. Um, which I feel like most podcasts are kind of
Yeah.
about.
They're reasons for people to go to therapy. And that's
Uh,
what we're doing. We're watching a happy show with nothing sad ever happens in Gundam Wing. So it's all about making ourselves feel better.
oh yeah, yeah. I mean, if therapy, uh, if you like shooting yourself in the head for therapy. Um, so why? Well, Meme Doc sent me an Instagram video short. Is that what they're called in Instagram? I'm not familiar. You just
Reels. They're
send me.
called reels.
That's it. You send me millions of them.
Yeah. You better watch them all.
No, man.
Why?
Sometimes too many, right? They
There's not
like
too
pile
many.
up. Ma-
I'm
they-
very, very careful about what I send you.
Sometimes they pile up, and I'm like, I've got 20 of these, and then see if I go to one and it's longer than a minute. I'm like, I'm not watching all
It's
of this.
rare for me to send you anything longer than a minute.
So, Meme Doc sent me uh, a clip, and it was the audio from a podcast, overwritten on a, I don't know, it's like faces clips from Batman animated series. It was funny
Yeah.
anyway. I liked it, and I was like, "Wait a minute." In the description, it said from the Batman animated series podcast, and I was like, "What?" Absolutely love Batman the animated series, the original from the 90s. Was it a 90s cartoon?
Was released in 1995 in Japan and didn't come to our part of the world until 2000, 2001, something like that.
What? But why? They released it Japan first, or America and Japan got it first? What? I'm confused. Either way, I love it.
So
It's amazing. Oh, you cut out there.
no, I'm just I'm arguing with myself about when it came out. I'm pretty sure it came out later for us because I had to wait for the English dub.
Wait a minute. What are we talking about here?
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about Batman the animated series.
Oh, I'm talking about
Oh,
Gundam Wing. I thought that's what we were doing here.
that is what we think. Anyway, sorry. That was literally Japan first. What? um,
Yeah, no, Batman
Batman.
didn't come out in Japan first.
Yeah, no. Let's walk that back. With the Bruce Wayne stroke Batman voiced by the titular Kevin Conroy. I always get the surname wrong. Anyway, amazing series. Listened to that and I thought, why don't we do a podcast on Batman the animated series? But then I was like, oh no, someone's already doing it, obviously.
X-Men came out in 1992.
So damn.
This is the new thing
We
I'm doing. I'm just going to keep looking up when stuff came out.
so we shortlisted a bunch of series. Me and Meme Doc were like, what cartoon series did we watch when we were young that was really influential? And we had
Spider-Man came out in 1994.
Spider-Man was one of them, I think, for Meme Doc. But I was just like, I'm an anime degenerate, and I was like something more anime-esque. And we kind of agreed upon Gundam Wing, which, like, I think people who are fans of Mobile Suit Gundam might look down on Gundam Wing a little bit in comparison, but it was the first mainstream Mobile Suit series that came out in the West and basically popularized the whole series. And I think in a lot of sense popularized mecha at the time. So, um, I thought this would be a better thing to do because usually what I do is I do a playthrough of games on my main channel, and I feel a bit bad about that because I'm just playing through the whole game and it doesn't really encourage people to play the games themselves. But I thought this would actually be a lot better because it encourages people to kind of watch the show and then listen to us talk about it.
So, question:
Yes.
how did you initially find out about Gundam Wing? Did you know about the other stuff before Gundam Wing, or
No.
was this your introduction to the whole thing?
This was my introduction to the whole thing. I caught Gundam Wing because I used to watch Cartoon Network back in the day. Um, and I used to, along with Gundam Wing, it was like at that time, Dragon Ball Z was on Cartoon Network. I think it was the Tsunami that they became CNX, that kind of section. So there was Dragon Ball Z, Gundam Wing. What else was there?
There was Batman of the Future, which in America was known as Batman Beyond. So my top three things on Toonami were Batman of the Future, Dragon Ball Z, and Gundam Wing.
I feel like I'm missing. There was some other anime stuff on Toonami, and for some reason I can't remember
Yeah,
them.
there was like Cowboy Bebop and all
Oh,
these other things. But
Cowboy Bebop was
like
awesome.
this was at a time when households had one TV, and this was before your Sky or whatever could record stuff. So you had to watch stuff exactly when it came out, and you had to negotiate with siblings and parents and whoever to get your specific watching time. So the things that I could watch were Dragon Ball Z, Gundam, and Batman. Whatever else was on that channel was outside my negotiated times that I could have access to the TV.
Yeah, I think most people nowadays who weren't alive or kids during the 90s will not understand the pain of only being able to get a certain amount of watch time on the big TV. But yeah, Gundam Wing is an interesting one because I think it was part of the reason why I decided to do engineering in the past. Because I remember there was the engineers who had created the Gundams, and I thought those guys look like a bunch of weirdo misfits. That could be me in the future. Um, Also the idea of creating giant space robots that shoot lasers and shit at each other in space was awesome. And Gundam Wing was my introduction to mecha anime. Um, but yeah, so the net. Well, I've talked about how we've found out. How did you find out about it?
So
I'm
yeah, for
assuming
me
it's
it
the
was
same.
Tsunami as well. I know you're like a great connoisseur of anime, but for me, I was just watching the basics of life, which were Dragon Ball Z, and then Gundam Wing came out. And to be honest, I watched the whole thing from beginning to end. And the things that I remember was, every evening I'd watch an episode, and it would finish. I'd be like, "Oh my god, I'm so excited for the next one! I'm so excited for the next one!" And then you'd come back the next evening and you'd watch the next episode, and then one day you'd come and watch an episode and suddenly find that they've gone backwards 20 episodes because they
Mm.
don't have the next lot or whatever. And you'd be like, no. And you'd be waiting, waiting, waiting. And then at some random junction in the future, they'd be like, new episodes coming out. And then you could keep watching the story. So that's one of the defining memories I have. I remember arguing with my dad once because they changed the time. Gundam Wing used to come on at like 6 or 7, and then it came on at 9:30 or 10. And it was after my bedtime. I was like, no, Dad, it's gonna be like the next episode is really important. It ended on a cliffhanger. I need to see what happens. I need to see what happens. And I managed to negotiate a later bedtime only to find that the episode was like an old one. It was a rerun. It had gone all the way backwards in time.
Nice. I just kind of watched it as and when it came out. I was like pretty limited as well in terms of how I could watch it, and I was used to watching things totally out of order, and so yeah. I mean, by the way, you're kind of cutting out.
Yeah, I'm cutting in and out, but it records locally, so it'll be fine in the final thing.
I just have to pretend I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
The wonders of editing. We'll catch it in post, guys. Um, so question: why did you like Gundam Wing? Did you like what Gundam Wing? I've not even
Yeah,
asked you.
100%. I like Gundam Wing. I thought it was so cool. intersected with lots of important moments in my life. So I was about 10 or 11 when I started watching this. Um, and we'll get onto this when we get to a specific episode. But I remember I got quite sick at that age and I was in hospital for a long time. And even when I got out of hospital, you'll remember my childhood bedroom. I used to have a bunk bed. Do you remember?
Mhm.
And when was sick, my parents said, we need to be able to get to you. You can't go up on the bunk bed. Go sleep in. My sister had gone away to university, so I had to sleep in her room, in her bed, which was an empty room with a big double bed, and I was a small child. Um, and this was before smartphones, laptops, internet, any of that. So I was just in a room in a double bed with nothing but my imagination. And because Gundam Wing was the thing that was on, I remember pretending like I was just lie there in the bed and pretend it was a suit and like run away with my imagination. And then other things, as a little brown boy growing up in the West, one thing a lot of people will empathize with this. Our mums, for some reason, always used to put us in a vest, a banyan, and eventually get to a point at school where people are like, "Why are you wearing that?" and would start making fun of you. Um, and the lead character in this, Hiro Yui, wears one and makes it cool. And I was like, "Yeah, if Hiro can do it, I can do it."
You're ta
Um,
you're
but
talking
the
about
bullying
the
was
wife
too much, and
beater
I
top,
stopped.
what's referred to as a wife beater in some
Yeah,
places. Um, Interesting. I'm a bit older than you. I'm not gonna give away ages, but yeah, for me, I was in my kinda, like, mid to late teens, and it was I loved the edge. I loved how edgy Hero Yui was. He
yeah.
was such an arsehole, and for some reason, I can't explain, but I seem to like arseholes. I wonder why. Oh god.
You see
Um,
yourself in them.
like, he he's such an idiot. Like, well, it's like he hates everything. This is what I can remember. I've not watched the series um since I think I watched it back in the day. I don't think I've really rewatched it since then. Um, I just remember being an arsehole. I remember him jumping out of a building or something, and someone saying that he broke like the majority of the bones in his body and still somehow walked it off.
Yeah.
He was just like bred to be some sort of kind of super soldier, even though he's like really lanky and whatever. And I
But I
remember
think he was like a spy. One of the whole thing of point of a spy is that you get by unnoticed. You're average. Like in real life, James Bond would be the worst spy. Like he sticks out in any room he walks into. He announces his name everywhere he goes. He has like set things that everybody knows about him, like the Aston Martin and the drink and whatever else. Whereas Hiro Yui, just random guy.
I mean, he was just a random guy that just wore a vest and somehow is an ace hacker, ace pilot. Like he's uh, amazing at everything. He's like a genius at everything. But he wasn't the only person. Like there's what, five characters?
Yes. So I've written down the things that I remember about the show, but I'm not going to read it out now. I'll read it out when we get to the last episode to see what I did remember, what I misremembered, um, and we'll tick anything I got right and laugh about anything I got wrong. I actually remember very little about this. I feel like I remember the first couple of episodes and the last episode, but everything in the middle is just a blur.
I mean, is it not worth talking about it now and then doing the comparison? Because then the audience knows how to what to compare. I don't know.
Yeah, sure. What do you remember then?
What do I remember?
Yeah,
Okay.
Mr. Genius remembers everything.
Wait, what? No. Why are you insinuating that? Um, I remember there was a war between the space colonies and the Earth Federation or whatever. And as far as I understood it, and I'm pretty sure I misunderstood the story because I didn't, because I was an idiot and I still am. There is some sort of war going on with at least some of the space colonies on Earth. So they couldn't take them on in a full on fight. So they kind of created these kind of Gundams, which are like super mobile suits, to infiltrate Earth. Well, the users, the pilots would infiltrate Earth and then use those Gundams to do special. special ops basically and target specific people and places on Earth to kind of take them out and weaken the Earth or something. I also remember each character being kind of like from a different, like if they were from the Earth, they'd be from a different area of the planet. Was it Katra? I think was Middle Eastern. There was a guy that looked like he was probably from China. There was another dude, Troa Barton. He looked kind of French or
I don't
something.
remember the names of anyone.
Katra, Troa, Hiro Yui, and I can't remember the other guys. What? Not to say that they're not worth remembering. I just can't remember. Um, I remember that. I remember Katra using Hiro Yui's Gundam, and apparently it made him go insane, and he actually blew up a fucking whole colony full of people. So that was bad. Um, I remember that. I don't know why he went insane. I think there's something about the Gundam that Hiro Yui uses that it like must make you go crazy. Like it does something to your mind. Weird, right? But also he's mental, so maybe that's why it doesn't affect him so much. And honestly, that's about no. I remember there's a guy that has like he always wears glass. I don't know. It's not glasses, like some sort of visor on his head, and he's supposed to be the quote char unquote type character. I don't know Char. I've not really watched. Is it Char? Char. I've not watched the original Mobile Suit Gundam because he features in that, and there's always a character that kind of like emulates him or looks like him, in a lot of the series. I know there's a universal century. There's like a universal timeline, and then there's like other alternate timelines or something bizarre. Universal universe. I don't know actually. There's a main universe, and then there's like alternate universes. I don't know the details. I don't even. I think Gundam Wing doesn't sit in the main universe or something.
Where's
Gundam.
Batman
Where's Batman?
in all of
Batman.
this?
Batman. Um, died a long time ago.
Sad.
It was sad, but he got old because this is way in the future. Um, and that's oh, I remember Relina say wait, actually, is it Relina? Fucking I can't. The girl, right? Um, the girl that is the quote, I'm gonna put it in quotations, love interest of Hiro Yui, who's from a pacifist. She's like the princess of a pacifist nation that got like annihilated because it was pacifist, and dudes with guns came rolling in. Um, and she's like at a rich high school, and Hiro Yui is going to this rich high school, and I think I just remember them fencing, and then he like stabs her mask, but doesn't stab her face. He's basically just an arsehole to her, but she likes him for some reason, and she's kind of annoying. That's all I remember. I feel like there's something else. No, that's what all I remember. And the engineers, were a bunch of weird looking dudes that made the Gundams.
That changed the course of your entire life.
Yeah, like I just remember them looking weird, wearing white coats. Engineers don't tend to wear big white coats, but whatever. Do you know what? Maybe I should start wearing a white lab coat everywhere and calling myself an
Yeah,
engineer
do
and
it.
say I'm working
Why
on
not?
a mobile suit. I mean, why not? Who cares? I'm fucking halfway insane anyway. Um, I think that I would be kind of saddened if people didn't really bat an eye at that. But yes, that's all. That's what I remember. What do you remember?
A lot less. Like I remember Hiro Yui. I remember the suits. I remember there were 5 characters. And like you said, the girl. I remember the bad guys had a series of suits that I think were named after star signs. Um, and when we see one, I'll tell you more about it in the actual show. That was my favorite one. I remember. Should I just spoil the end?
No,
If you don't want spoilers,
no,
skip.
no, don't, no, don't spoil the end. Just wait. I can't even remember the end, so don't spoil it. I've
All right.
forgotten it.
Okay.
You remember
But
the end though.
I I, I remembered something about the end and being like, huh, okay.
You can
But
you
yeah,
can
I'll tell
keep
you. I'll tell
that.
you when we get there.
Yeah, is that it then?
Yeah, genuinely everything in the middle. I have no idea what you're talking about or what happened. Like it was weird how important this thing was to me, and then it just fell out my head completely.
I think the thing is, because you were what, 12, 11, 12 at the time,
Yeah,
you wouldn't have clocked it because
yeah,
there's so much. This is the thing. There's a lot of things I look back in the past, and I was not young, right? I was not 12, 10 or 12. I was a bit older, and I should have picked up on things. I don't know if I'm an idiot. I just like, ooh, big mobile suit, fight, laser guns, pew pew. Ignore all the space opera,
yes,
politics stuff.
100%.
The worst bit, the thing about like Gundam is that it's all about the fucking or the majority of them are about the space politics. Um, so like, and the colonies and all that look awesome. Like they're like they do. I think they're based on some sort of scientific kind of I don't know what you call it. There's like a design that people would have if we were to have space colonies. There's like certain designs that have been mentioned, and you see them in anime a lot. And I think that's kind of cool that it's based on some science. Obviously, you can't have spacesuits easily flying about unless I don't even know how they're powered. I'm assuming nuclear. I don't know. I don't know how the Gundams are powered. Magic, magic.
There's a hamster in the middle. It's running really, really fast.
Hamtaro, um, the magic hamsters.
Yeah.
Um,
Did you not remember that bit?
no, no, you're pulling my leg,
There was a
mate.
whole episode about the origin of the hamster that would run on the wheel
The
in the middle.
hamster wheel. Right. Well, I'll be looking forward to that episode.
If you
But
remember the hamster, leave a comment below and remember to subscribe so that you know
y-
when all of this comes out. And tell Ashmanix here, I remember the hamster. The more of you that comment that underneath this, the more he will be unsure of any of his memories. And I think ultimately that's the goal of this, what we're trying to do here.
what destabilize my sanity?
Correct.
Well,
Don't worry about it. It'll be fine.
maybe maybe we shouldn't call this the endless watch. It should be the endless madness. Endless like oh
Hashtag I remember hamster.
that's never gonna trend. Screw you. Uh,
I will pay all my savings to get it trending.
I would fucking laugh, man. If that it will never happen. Anyway, I think we didn't want to go on for too long. If I was doing this on my own, I would have done this podcast for 2 hours because I can talk until the cows come home. But Meme Doc is sensible and is like, no, don't make it last for fucking ages. Um,
People like to listen to this when they commute, when they're taking their Gundam from the space station to Earth or vice versa. This is just a fun little thing to listen to while you're experiencing zero gravity.
well, do you know what? If it's fun, let's make this less fun. Let's talk about today's politics and totally date this. No, no, I'm kidding. We're not going to do this. Uh, I think one of the things we have talked about is like we want this to kind of be something that you could listen to at any point in history and not
Yeah.
feel like it's dated.
Now, a year from now, 10 years from now, um, if you want to pick up the show and have a watch and watch along with us, we'll always be here in our animated forms to enjoy with you.
Exactly. We're not going to be like, oh, the PlayStation 1 just came out. I'm
Did you
kidding.
get one yet?
A PlayStation 1? No.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
uh,
going to get the N64. I like that it's colorful.
the irony is you did get N64.
Yeah, boy.
I never did. Anyway, you were totally spoiled as a kid, in my opinion, which is maybe wrong, but I don't
And
care.
look how well we both turned out.
Well, you're the one that turned out to have, let me see, a well-rounded
Face.
life with like house and family and job stuff or whatever.
And you have your
I,
Gundam. You literally built a Gundam. I bought it
I
for you
wait, what
from
no,
Malaysia, truly Asia.
what no. I'm sitting here looking at Jobby the cat, going, "What have I done? What am
What
I?"
happened to the Gundam I bought for you?
Um, you remember what Gundam it was?
No, I bought it for you with like care and consideration and bought it from halfway across the world. I
I,
went to Malaysia, which was as close to Japan as I've got.
I
So
forgot,
it was like semi-authentic.
but it wasn't Japan, so I
Yeah,
didn't build it. No, I built
you did build
one.
it.
Did you not? Did I? I think I bought another one. I built it and then I don't know where I put it. I kept it back in the box.
Well, that's a you problem. You need to go find it.
Um, yes, let's change the topic. So, right, let's wrap this up. So before we go, I want to talk about the format we're going to use for this podcast going forward. Um, so the first episode of this is going to be at some random time in the future. We don't have a defined time.
Maybe a
Um,
Tuesday
don't don't
or a
even say
Wednesday. Depends
don't.
what the audience wants. Just remember, just right underneath, I would like this to come out on, and then whatever day you want, and
So
then hashtag I remember hamster.
right, hashtag on it. Oh my god. Um, this is not just going to be a YouTube video. I'm going to release this as a podcast on like the Spotify's or whatever the fuck. So I don't know where
Do
people are
you
going
have an email that people can send stuff to?
to. No,
Why?
just
Okay, we'll set
just
up an email,
tweet
and once we
memes.
do, you can email us. I remember hamster.
What do you think we should do a thing where if anyone emails us, we read the emails out? Oh my
Yeah,
god.
they should email us stuff. And also, I've just suddenly realized, um, like I don't know how to make AI videos, but I'm going to now, and I'm going to make one about a hamster that flies a Gundam
No, don't use AI. AI sucks for like the AI generative shit. AI is
because
only
I can
cool.
animate in any other way.
Yeah, learn how to animate. I mean, like learn how to draw. Do some. It's even funnier if you do your own drawing. To be fair, like I would totally rate you if you if you did a really dodgy, simple animation of a hamster powering a Gundam. I don't even know how you draw that. I don't even know how to conceptualize that, but it would be awesome. So there's your task for the. Can you do it by the before the end of this podcast? Um. So what? So I was totally put off track there. Right. So yeah, I don't know when the first episode will come out, but I think the plan is to try and release episodes at a regular cadence. Hopefully. I guarantee nothing though, because I may not have a life, but Meme Doc has to meme doc his way through life, you know, seeing patients, slapping them in the face with memes, and then running away laughing, because that's clearly what Meme Doc does in life. That's how I
I'm
picture
gonna
it.
start bringing it up with patients. I'm gonna be like, do you, we have to do all these like checks. So before, when you like check someone's memory, you check short term and long term. So you're like, do you remember your name? Do you remember your address? And then something in recent history, and then something from long ago. The question used to be, and when did World War II start or end? And then nowadays people are getting older, and a lot of them don't know when World War II started or ended. So medical students are being taught to ask when were the Olympics in London instead, as like a long-term memory check. Um, and I'm just gonna say, and do you remember the hamsters in Gundam Wing? And see what they say.
So you're actively going to confuse patients and cause.
For this pod, yeah, I would do that.
Um, do not do what Meme Doc does. If you're a doctor or anyone, do not try and like troll someone that way, especially if they've just came out of a coma or something. Um, but yes, what was I going to say? Right, the plan, Meme Doc, is that we will watch an episode. So each podcast we're going to cover an episode. We will watch it individually, take notes, preferably. I don't know how good it feels to take notes while watching something. I've not done that before. I don't know if that will be awesome. That will be a horrible experience rather than just watching it. But we'll try and take notes, and then we'll get
I usually
together.
just do bullet points on my phone.
Yeah, I need to, don't know. Like, I'm gonna have to get used to it. But yeah, we'll take notes and then we'll get together and have a chat, and that will be basically the podcast. Maybe I should set up. I can set up an email address for this. Do you know? Should I do it just now while we're talking? No,
Yeah, yeah.
we're
Do
at
it
the
just
limit.
now because I'm in the middle of creating something amazing.
Uh, I I genuinely am concerned about what it is that you're talking about.
It's fine. It's
And
fine. Don't worry about it. It's all good. You'll love it.
I don't think I'm gonna love it. I'm gonna be honest. Wait. Oh. switching screens is a very bad thing to do. So let's see. Can I? I think I can set up. What would we call the email address? Like it'll be. What should I name the mailbox?
Um, I don't know, something like I remember hamster at gmail.com.
No, I'm not. That would just be so random, right? Wait, wait.
Okay, look at your phone. Go look at your phone.
What? What? Look at, dude. It's just, it's
For
just,
anyone that's not understanding
it's
what's
just,
going on, I've just sent a comic panel to Ashmanix with a hamster powering a Gundam because this was totally a real thing that happened in the
wait.
show.
It's not even
And
showing. It's
we'll
just
put this
like
on social media.
it
We'll
just
put it on
shows a.
social media
No,
and you can have a
did you
look.
AI generate this shit?
Yeah.
You're a bad person, man. Like, wait. Let me. Okay. Let me think about this. Uh. Did I just create a Gmail account? Would
Yeah,
that be
you
easier? Or
go
that
create
that
that. We'll let people have a rest, and we'll put up this picture of the hamster powering the Gundam on socials so people can see it. Remember to subscribe and follow so that when this comes out, you'll know exactly when we started.
Do you know I've totally forgotten what the name of the channel is? Ashmanix watches.
Yeah, go
um,
to YouTube, type at Ashmanix Watches, and we'll see you soon.
and what I'm going to try and do is create an email address. It'll be ashmanixwatches at ashmanix.com. Wait, no, that sounds stupid. Just say watches.
It's like you're sat watching yourself.
I'm just gonna call it Watch Podcast.
Oh, are we selling watches now, like those people on the other podcast? What is it? It's two guys that just wanted to make watches that were accessible but high premium quality. Movement watches. Something,
What?
something, something.
What? Wait, what? No. Watch shit. Um,
Hamster watches.
no. What the hell? This is confusing me now. I'm just gonna call it Gundam Podcast at ashmanix.com. Does that make sense? Why have you gone quiet? Or has my internet died? Or
I'm
are
doing
you
more
trolling?
AI nonsense.
Oh,
Don't worry about it. It'll be good.
you do you know you do it too much. I'm revoking your AI privileges. You're a bad man. You should not.
This is
You
too
ought.
much fun.
No, you should not. You're killing like a whole rainforest just to do some stupid AI generated shit. Do you not feel bad?
I always feel bad.
You, but you still do it.
For you, yeah, I'd do anything.
Um. Oh my god. Right. I will make a. What should I call it? Gundam Watch Podcast at ashmanix.com. Does that make sense as an email address?
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean, not as much as I remember hamster, but it'll do.
so send an email for this one is- what the fuck? Yeah, Gundam Watch Podcast at ashmanix.com. Right. I'm gonna try and remember to set that up. And if it doesn't work and it bounces back, my bad. Um, but yeah, I think we'll leave it there for today. I have waffled on, and I'm now worried about what BeamDoc is AI generating. Um, do either send an email or comment. I don't know if you can comment on podcast stuff, but if you're watching this on YouTube or something, do leave a comment. What are your opinions of MemeDoc using AI to generate stuff? Because I'm pretty sure people have opinions of that. But yeah, we'll leave it there. I am Ashmanix,
And I meme duck
and this is Ashmanix Watches.
hamsters.
Or, well, no, what is this called? It's called the
Endless watch.
Endless Watch. I forgot the name of the podcast I came.
You came up with the name.
I know I'm terrible at this.
My name was better.
Wait, what was your name? The
Gundam
hamster one?
Winge.
Gundam Wing? You never came up. You never told me that. You've just
Oh my
told me
god,
that just
I'm gonna
now.
look through our text history and I'm gonna find it.
No, Gundam Winch. No,
Yeah.
you know, you're not gonna find. Oh my god, you did.
I did there we go, 6:53 in the morning.
Oh, that's why I didn't. But we're not
And then you
whinging
literally
about
commented on it. You said, "Hmm, I do like this, but we can brainstorm other names."
the endless watch. I like because we're not whinging about Gundam.
No, I know,
We like it.
but I'll find something to whinge about, and I know you will too.
Oh, I'll whinge about everything. I just want an excuse to have a platform so I can whinge about life. But
Yeah.
so
Right, should we
that's
let people go? And we are looking forward to bringing you episode 1 very soon.
yes. Do comment or something. I don't know. Interact. How do people interact to say if you care or not? And we'll see how it goes.